I'm Martin and welcome to my YouTube channel. Hopefully you've been keeping well. In the video today I'm going to be discussing about how to deal with toxic behaviour, toxic people, people intentionally trying to bring you down or harm you, or like just in toxic environments, and how to stay focused on your goals and not get distracted by them and focus on your own goals. Apology for there being no gimbal. I'll just get out of the house and need to film because I need to get out in nature and improve my mental well-being. The weather's not too nice, but I thought I'd do it anyway regardless. No excuses, just film in nature. Just got to be a bit careful so I don't slip, obviously, because obviously it's really wet and muddy and slippery, but that won't stop me. It's really important to stay focused on your goals, even if it's the smallest little thing, and nothing should stop you. So it's really important to take stock of like where you're at. Not everyone's going to have the best interest at heart. There are people out there who aren't the best. There are some nasty people out there, and there's some amazing people out there. And you got to remember, they do make up a certain percentage of the portfolio from varying degrees, from like coming from a misunderstanding, some coming from a misunderstanding, or people when you're doing better. It's a reflection back on them and how they see that you're doing better. They see where you come from and you're no longer at that place anymore and you're in a much better place, and they don't like that because they're like, why can't I do that? But they can, but they're just afraid to take that step, and they project out their own projections, like their own insecurities, because they don't like that. But the thing is not to absorb it and not to think, is it me? It's not you, it's not you. I used to do this and I still do it to some extent, but I'm much better at it now. And that's why I've come to film this video today, to clear my head and work it through, and I'm in a much better state. It's like some people just don't like to see other people happy, because obviously the world isn't easy, life's not easy. You've got to remember, imagine if life isn't going great for you, it doesn't justify it, or it's not a justifier. If life isn't going great for someone, imagine, and then they see someone whose life is going better or great, but they don't know what all the struggles or issues that other person is going through. They have no idea. But they still think their life's going great and everything's easy, which is clearly not the case, because life isn't easy. Everyone has worries and stresses and worries. It's really important not to get wrapped up into the drama, thinking, second guessing, is it me? Am I being like over sensitive? Or am I being narcissistic? It's just very important to do self-reflection, and to see if that is the case, then obviously reflect on that, and then try and improve your hand and not do that, and be better, and improve not to do that, like your social interactions. Sometimes that's clearly not the case. Some people do it with a malevolent intent, which is really sad. But it's just part of the game. You're going to get that, but don't be sidetracked. Do not be sidetracked, because it will stop you from the goal. You will be stopped. It's going to happen. Like today, I'm in a cycle. I've been stopped a little bit. That's why I came here. Even though you can see the weather's horrible. Can't flip the camera, but you can see it's really muddy out. So this is why I've come here, to clear my head and talk through my things, film it, and hopefully it might be beneficial for you, and like later on to see my progress, and to help people on the beginning journey themselves. Yeah, there will be people who try to bring you down. They may also say all sorts of things, like snide remarks. You can only take so much, and it will get to you, but it's also important to recognise when it does, and not accepting it. Like, say if they say so much, like that pettiness, it's not to let it get. You have to push through it and realise there's no truth to that, and then think, that's no truth to that, that's not me. And then it's probably just a projection out of that other person, projecting out their own insecurities, and they're trying to bring you down. It may not be malevolently, but it may be like through, like, it's really muddy here, like through like unconsciousness, where that they may do that to you. It's not like an intentional thing, but some it is, but the reaction's still the same. It still causes like stress and like to cause you to shrink and doubt yourself, and it's got to be part of the game. It's just one thing I'm really realising. It is part of the game. You got to get used to it and starting to like it. Well, not like it, and to manage it is probably a better word. There's going to be from all sorts of walks of life, from people that you know well, thought you're your friends. Well, they may be your friends, they may not be. It could be anyone, it could be family. That makes it even worse when it's family, especially if you can't get away from it and you're in an environment obviously where it's really toxic. And also it doesn't really help also if you had an upbringing that wasn't the best, or you had like a really strict upbringing. It does build character, but sometimes the trauma just crushes you and you don't actually benefit from it, which is sadly is the case a lot of the time. And trying to heal from that trauma as much as you possibly can. I just saw a cool fox, and yeah, I'm feeling a lot bit more comfortable filming. Knowing my luck, the gods will test that when someone comes along, but we'll see. And I just have to address it then and just get more comfortable with it. But it's really important to just focus on yourself. And like, if you're at that point, you only have so much mind of a bandwidth from 0 to 100%. If your mind's consumed by people's toxicity, a certain percentage, it causes unhappiness within yourself. And why would you want to be unhappy? Not that you should chase happiness. You should definitely not chase happiness, because that means you don't have it and you're trying to chase it. But you don't want to cause more unnecessary suffering on your mind than you need to. And obviously this isn't going to be like some formula I can provide for you, like do X, Y, Z, but I can say X, Y, Z. But for some people it may be beneficial, some people it may not work, or some people may be looking for different things. It's more like an analogy of way to be, or to see the world, or just be somewhere to like support, show that other people are going through this and you're not alone. You have to figure it out for yourself, which is a hard journey. So a lot of people are willing to pay that price. Most people say they do, but they don't. It's like, remember, you're alone with yourself 24/7. It's good to get help and therapy and support if you can, but you are alone with yourself 24/7. I know it's a bit of a ramble, it's not very organised, but hopefully I'll get more an efficient way of saying my message later on. But there's going to be people trying to distract you and undermine you, and like petty jealousy, and sometimes even sabotage. They may even try to sabotage your work efforts in all sorts of situations, in business, school, if you're in school, and college, uni, work, social, friendships, relationships, all sorts of life. But if it's in the relationships, like friendships and things like that, that's something that does need to be addressed, because you really want to have like a healthy relationship. I have to say, it's really beautiful here, the archway. Might stay here for a bit. So yeah, it's really important to sort that out. If there's like that kind of toxicness, maybe something can be easily be addressed. Sometimes it could be like their reaction could be due to their past traumas, and obviously you react some way and it triggers their reaction, and that reaction causes you to react, and you get like that cycle. You have to break that cycle. I'm not saying you'll have to be like, it's always you having to forgo you, if you know what I mean, to be happy, and the other person gets away with having to do the work. But at the end of the day, you are alone with yourself 24/7, and same for the other person. But you're not in control of the other person. You can control how you react, and obviously to a varying degree, obviously how they are, you're obviously going to react like it's normal. If someone tries to go for you, it's natural to defend yourself, and obviously physically or like psychologically. But obviously that degree, that's different. But it's got to be part of the game. It's part of the game. You're going to get toxic people. They're unhappy in life, and that's the real reason. They are unhappy people. If you look deep down, if you can communicate with them, if you're willing to be open, if they're honest or they're dishonest, but let's just say the fact if they're open and being honest, that most people are. I'm pretty open if you ask them. Obviously you can't be, the way you ask is very important. Can't be like a condescending, like I'm better than you. But when you talk to people and you hear about why they come to that, just the reason why they did, not that I'm justifying it, it's like that they're not happy people. They're really not. So why would you take what they say as gospel truth and absorb that? Real energy. I'm not saying if you're any part of the Abrahamic faith, I'm not saying you have to give up that, or it's some kind of thing, or if you're not religion at all, it contradicts with that, but I'm not saying to give that up. But you got to understand that raw energy, like your reaction may re-trigger them for like something that they didn't have, or the way you've done things, and it re-trigger them. And different attachment styles. People are anxious attachment style. There's all different sorts of ones that I need to be looking into, learning more about that. Getting into self-development, write down your goals again. Really important. Really important to write down your goals and think about where you want to be at. Not get consumed with this low-level vibration nonsense. That's why I've been talking about in previous videos. It's so important not to watch toxic programs like EastEnders and Corrie and Emmerdale and blah 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 blah. I'm not saying it's just a superior thing, but you only have one life. You only live once. As far as I know, in this body. You may come back in a different body, or maybe an afterlife. This isn't the place, or this isn't the space for debating that. This is about this current moment, and I'm not saying about giving up a religion or conversing. None of that. It's just about improving your life and making the best of it. That's all we can do. That's all you can do. But it's really lovely just to walk here. Actually, it's really nice walking in the woods when it's damp. It's really clearing the mind. Really clearing of the mind. So as I said, people will be negative. You will get it at some degrees. It's only a matter of time. So say if you're beginning your journey and you don't get any resistance, you won't get any resistance straight away. Well, you may not, but I didn't. It wasn't until later, obviously, till I growed a bit more, that I started to notice it more. Like, maybe even been a bit more naive, or turn a blind eye to my naivety when I saw it, but maybe a bit of both. Not sure, but what are your goals? Where do you want to be at? What are your goals? Some people, and you got to realise that some people may hinder your goals, and see them as like an obstacle. People that are intentionally trying to hinder you, see it as an opportunity to use it as a chance to build fortitude of character of who you are. There's difficult sets of people. There's all varying degrees. You have lovely people, high empathy, people who have moderate and low empathy, and people with no empathy. People with no empathy are lovely. People with high empathy can be mean in varying degrees. It's all about figuring people out. Social skills is so important, figuring people out. Not like you have to be highly critical of every action that they make, but it's important to be aware that what people's intentions are and what they say behind your back, because it's very important to figure out people. Are they wanting the best for you and trying to bring you down? Internally it's worse, and what really they can't bring you down. It only works if you choose to like accept the absorption of the energy. They put something out because you're a highly empathetic person. You take that into your head and you think about it, which you shouldn't. It should just be discarded. Like, that's no truth, no basis. But obviously, as a highly empathetic person, and like you second guess yourself because you lack, not that's probably not the right word, but lack confidence, but in your own ability, not judgment, or you well, maybe a bit, but you second guess yourself is a better way of phrasing it. I'm not sure how to put it into words, but maybe like that kind of thing. Like that kind of does that, and you makes you second guess, and that you knew you're right. Like you knew when you said 5 plus 5 is 10, you knew it, but you second guess yourself. But obviously, it's not 5 plus 5 is 10. It's like a construct of an idea, or like an energy, or like something. But the concept is like you second guess yourself, and you know that's to be true. But you second guess yourself, and they put that seed of doubt in your mind. And sometimes I don't know what worse is worse, the people intentionally do it and you know it, or the people unintentionally or benignly not knowing that they're doing it. I don't know what it can be worse. Well, at least you can know the ones who are overtly doing it, you can know to protect yourself. But obviously if they're not knowing, it's hard, unless you can like show them, and if they're willing to accept that and come to the realization that yeah, that was wrong, and they change their ways, that's great. But if they don't, you need to have filters in place. So something I need to probably learn to be better at is to have more filters in place. Obviously I'm still early on in my development journey and I want the best for people, and obviously I know that's not the case and not everyone wants to grow. It is a really small percentage. If you look in the self-development community, yeah, it's all well and good when rah sounds good and like all these big stages, which is good. You meet people like-minded and you what do you call it, communicate with one another, and you like learn people that similar sort of thing. But like now, you're alone 24/7 with yourself, and yeah, sometimes it's really not easy. It's a bit of a ramble, but hey ho. Hopefully you find the video useful and beneficial to you. So yeah, I'm gonna probably upload like a long version and maybe like another one in a minute. Got to keep track of the time because I don't want to get locked in. Oh, that would be funny. So yeah, so the people intentionally trying to do it, it's like, and also if you do find that yourself that you're biting over small things, it may not be that small thing that's causing you to bite. It may be past traumas that you haven't resolved, or like kind of things you haven't fixed within yourself, and you're causing you to bite back to like make up for lost time. I can't think of a way of phrasing it better than that, but it's the only way I can think of, to prove a point to yourself. Like, it's like an overreaction, but then again, and then obviously they're going to think, whoa, that's a bit over the top, but then again they were still poking at you, so does that make that justifiable? So the only way that it can think is like, I want to have like a really calm mind, and obviously to have a calm mind you will be tested. It is a test. There's going to be tests and trials and tribulations. People will poke and prod at you from different directions, but I'm not going into it, but like politically, if you're left or right, there are going to be like counters to that. If you poke or prod, if you're traditional, progressive, you're not into that, this isn't a place for this. This is more about like your personal development, and things will be pushed back. There will be pushback against all these sorts of things. And when you make decisions, it's not easy. Life isn't easy. Life isn't easy. Remember, people aren't always overtly trying to harm you, and there is a certain percentage it is. But if they are, you can't change them. You can't change them, so all you can do is to put up filters. But it's not the people that are trying to harm you. It's more the people that are listening to what the harmful person is saying. They take that on board as like gospel truth, and they don't accept that, or second, or like think to question what that person's saying. It's like very at the whim of what other people think, which can be really upsetting to hear and to think. And healing trauma is like so important, and just like letting it let go and making the best of it as much as you can. Making the best of it what you can, and trying to improve your hand. And sadly, the world is not going to be easy. The world isn't going to be easy. So what are some of the other things I can advise you? Write down your goals, right, where you want to be at, where you're at, what do you need to do to get where you need to be at. Start making some progress if you haven't, i.e. go for a walk somewhere in the woods if you can. Breathing exercise, I find that really calms me down. Doing Wim Hof breathing. I normally do like 3 rounds of that 11-minute video. I might post it in the description box, but obviously I know that obviously there's only 24 hours in the day, and I can't obviously keep doing that constantly because there's not enough hours in the day, and it takes up a bit of time to do that, to get yourself back in the emotional state. So eventually I will need to build up more fortitude, so I won't have to keep doing all that. And obviously I can have like lesser routines that take up less time. Also, I'll do like maybe like 1 round of like that Wim Hof breathing because it's really important and it relaxes and calms your mind. But your mind is going to be pulled in lots of different directions. If you have an anxious style, mind, anxious style, mind, which is like what I have. It's really important to keep the mind calm because it's get pulled in lots of different directions, and life does become easier as you get older, as long as you have the right information and you're seeing things rightly. You've got to get clear, and you're not like seeing things wrongly. But I don't know how to describe it. You see things right. I think if you have the right intention behind it, and you look why people are doing what they're doing, it's really, really important. It's really important what they're doing, why they're doing it. So yeah, that's what I would say. That's what I would say on that one. So yeah, it's like, and when people are harmful, you're going to get fun. If you tell people that you're into self-development, you're going to get fun making fun of. You're going to get poked and prodded. Yeah, some people may giggle and agree with you, but then obviously people will make fun of it later on, like in their group when they get together, they make a giggle of it. But at the end of the day, and don't shrink when they do that. They're jealous. They're just jealous. Highly jealous people. They'll make fun. If like jealous people will make fun and make belittling comments, and they hide behind like a joke or that fake passive aggressive, like I'm just joking, but really it isn't. You're just being snidey and sneaky and trying to add a little sneaky jab, and then like, I'm a nice person, but I'll do a little jab, but I'm being friendly. That's what that is. Obviously you've got to be careful of the reaction to that, and people will jab, and then obviously it's something to be aware of and not let that fester and build up, so you snap back one day and snap, and then they turn around and like, oh, I'm just a victim, like, that person reacted. You know what I mean, speaking from like what I'm dealing with. It's like, I know not to buy it, but obviously it's frustration. Everyone goes through this, and I find like through cycles, like sun goes in, sun goes out, tide goes in, tide goes out. There's always a new growth from every pullback, and sometimes you don't see the growth from the pullback, but it builds fortitude, and you're going to have to change who you are, and you're going to have to be willing to give up of who you are. I know it's very esoterical, obviously I can't tell you exactly what this could mean. You're kind of, oh, grey squirrel. That this could mean that you have to kind of figure it out yourself along your way, and that's so scary because like right now there's a path, like a path, but in the mind there's no path. I mean, you have to kind of carve your own path and journey away in life, and obviously people will try and steer you in different directions, and sometimes that's they give really great advice, and it's like you should follow that path. Sometimes you shouldn't, sometimes you should. And what do you do? And also realise that obviously you're going to be struggles, and sometimes it's going to cause you to be unhappy, but don't absorb that unhappiness. And if you're unhappy, find and do something. Like I worked out today, and it's made me feel so much better. Right now I'm just feeling a little bit of like a low state, but it's everyone's just got to get moving, and obviously got to continue and finish with my studies. Nearly finished my bookkeeping course on my level 2, just got to take a test for part 1 and 2, and then move on to level 3, and then that's my goal. So I am making good progress, but it's really important just to stay focused. And if you have no aspirations and goals in life, you just coast along in life, you're just going to guarantee misery. Yeah, you may not get what if you don't set a goal, and then you ain't got to worry about meeting a goal, but then again you're just like coasting along, and that's even worse. Yeah, you may get you won't get the dip or the not hitting your target, your goal, but you have no meaning on the goals. You just like sit down, go to work, sit down and plod and watch TV. And what kind of existence that is? If obviously you want to be more than that, it's fine if you want to just do that, but I don't think it'll make you very happy. Obviously happiness isn't a thing. Well, I suppose the fulfillment would be a better word, but and there's not going to be that many people out there who are into this, and it's why it's so important to switch off and sometimes just get into nature. Because if you get overconsumed on YouTube, obviously, yeah, I'm going to say watch my content, but obviously I don't want you to overconsume, if you know what I mean, and it's detrimental to your well-being. You need to do the steps for yourself. and I need to do my own steps for myself, and vice versa, not watching content. So it's like a not just you thing, and it's also my thing. People watching my content are maybe further along on the journey than me, but maybe I have a different insight that they're seeking. It might be beneficial, and vice versa. Or maybe I'm further along in someone else's journey and it really helps them, and that's really great. And also this content really helps me because it helps clear my mind, talking through my thinks, my thoughts, what I'm going through. And it's really important not to bite. Going back to being toxic. Toxic people, they're out there everywhere. Varying degrees, as I said, from benign people who are like because they just go along with the joke with other people because they're like, they can't be different or being seen to be an individual because they're afraid of being an outcast. I feel like someone makes a belittling joke, they feel like they have to tag along because they don't want to be seen different or like an outcast of the social group. And it's part of the game. There are social groups and hierarchies and all that specialness when it's in a toxic way. And obviously, when you start telling people that you're into self-development, you're going to get pushback because people it shows shade on their ungrowth, and that's not a pretty thing to face when people realise that you see you growing and they're stagnating, or even worse, getting worse, and that they could so easily do it if they took the ability. But maybe that if they probably have some sticking block in their own life, like a trauma or something, or they're just afraid or the wrong information. And some people may not want to or put in the work or the effort, or maybe they have the wrong program in their mind, like maybe they get told it's one of these special people or they get it easy, but it really isn't. Where I've come from, when I got to, I was like, I did not have it easy. You'll get there, I promise you, you really will. You just got to put in the work. But obviously it's important to learn that different people can be toxic for different reasons. Not everyone is toxic is your enemy though, and sometimes you're just going to have to deal with toxic people. It's just part of life. But just see it as an opportunity, as a reflection back to see how you can deal with that. Not that it's justifiable, their toxic behaviour, but they're going to be toxic. Toxic people are just toxic. What you need to do is to protect your Garden of Eden, your state of mind. It's not like a physical place, it's like a mind. Your mind, your concept, not like a physical thing in the mind, like a concept. You need to protect it. You need filters and understanding of people. And this is what the growth thing is painful. It's painful because you have to deal with your traumas and work through things and growth and setbacks and pushing through when you don't want to, doing things when you don't want to, hearing other programs that you've got in your mind that you know that hinder you. Pushing through them and knowing that you've got to change, but you're still under old programming and you've got to unprogram it to get to new programs, and shedding of skins, ideas, concepts. So important. But if people are toxic and harmful, it may mean to varying degrees, you may need to cut them off or like sever, limitate like your exposure to them, and see it as a sign of success. See it as a sign of success. It's a horrible way of seeing it, but it is part of the game. It is part of the game. It is part of the game. There are toxic people trying to harm you. There are people trying to harm you, and it's not always the best. And limit your exposure to them, and all we can do is that. Yeah. What can I say?